All right, welcome back to the Two Alpha Show. We got to get Al in here. He's got a green screen for some reason or another. But today's topics we're going to talk about is mag dumps, shooting groups, and shot timers. All right, we're experiencing some technical difficulty with Al and trying to get him back in here on the show. Look like his computer clocked out or whatever. So we're going to talk about various topics tonight. There he is. Let me put him back in. All right, there he is. Back in the flesh. Can we hear you? We had no audio with you. So still having some technical difficulties. Still no audio. Nope. Still no audio with Al. And while we work on that, we're going to talk about some things today. If you guys have been noticing, ammunition prices have been going sky high, crazy. And if a word of advice to you guys, if you look online and look for ammunition prices, if you do see them at your some of these stores, and you get an email on them, go ahead and jump on them as quick as you can. If you when you get your audio back out, just go ahead and chime in so I know you got your audio. And and but the ammo prices I've been seeing, Walmart, continue to check Walmart, guys. It's out there. Walmart in the outside areas have been selling ammunition, and also Walmart in some of the local areas have been selling ammunition too. Um, also, too, you also have some places where you have ammo prices that are at um, um, some of your local gun shops, and they do publish some of your local ammunition prices that are pretty compatible to prices, and they're ideal. Can you hear me at all? I still can't hear you. Got no audio with you. Yeah. I got you in there, but I can't hear you. Can't hear you on the stream. Uh, Nope. Can't hear you on the stream. Hold on. Nope. Can't hear you. So you go out and come back in, and we'll bring you back into the stream. And I bought some ammo. Got some pretty good pricing, and on 223. Yeah, a lot of the online stores are doing, and a lot of local shops are doing. They are putting limits on ammunition, so you can get ammunition, but you're not going to be able to buy in bulk unless you buy by cases. Which is actually it's out there. You can get it, but you got to be careful when you're buying cases because some of these guys are price gouging. This weekend we have a local gun show going on. I'm not going to the local gun show. I was going to be a vendor at the gun show, but I decided not to. And so, I'm curious and what the prices on the local gun shows are, and do the gun shows have ammunition, and is it a reasonable price or is it too high? So it's something that you guys need to pay attention to and see what's going on out there. Also, check out your outside um, the city areas, in your country areas like your Walmarts, your local gun stores, and across the state lines. If you can find those places, and just check them out and see if those gun prices, I mean not gun prices, but ammunition prices are closer to what you guys usually have before. Like I said, we're still working out these technical difficulties, trying to get Al back into the stream. He lost stream just before we went live, and we're trying to get him back on. We can get him on, but he has no audio. So we're working on that right now in the background. In the meantime, I'm going to talk to you about. I've been talking to you guys about ammunition prices. Also, too, we have a call-in number. It's 404 692-0561. If you guys want to call in and talk to us and ask a question to the relative topic. And once we get Alan here, we'll start going over the topic. But tonight's topic is going to be about mag dumps, shooting groups, and on ranges, indoor and outdoor, and do shot timers help? And there he is. And do I have him? Are you there, Al?
Testing 1, 2, 3.
I got you. Look at there. See
All
there?
right.
We worked through it.
Magnificent.
Just like any situation, we worked through it. So only thing I've been talking about was just ammunition, giving them an update on ammunition prices. So go ahead, Al, and floor is yours. And the topics are up. I already told them about the phone number so they can call in if they want to.
Okay.
And I'll go ahead and monitor chats.
So one of the things that, as an instructor, you got to monitor and maintain what's going on in the industry, what's going on in training, the new trends, what are people getting into. So you can do that by either visiting public ranges, the range that you work at if it's not a private place, and look at other people and what they're doing. And some of the things that I see people doing, a lot of mag dumps, right? And they post their pictures up on different various platforms, social media wise. And also they talk about tight groups, right? You talk about tight groups. And what we're going to do is we're going to talk about those two as well as shot timers. So the big thing now, people who are not fast and are not as fast as they think they are, when they get on a shot timer, they start to tell you the relevance of a shot timer. The shot timers have no real need or any real standing in training. And then you talk to people who are good and people who are fast, and they'll tell you that shot timers are the bee's knees, that you have to have a shot time in order to get good. I kind of understand the people who don't like shot timers, but I like to quantify what I'm doing. So if you do, say, a bill drill, and you can do a bill drill in, let's give a moderate time. Let's say 3 seconds, right? 4 seconds. And you want to get better, you can't just keep doing a bill drill without a timer and think that you felt faster. That means you are faster. I was smooth, and you know that old adage of I was smooth. Smooth is fast, fast is smooth, slow and tough. Fast is fast. Either you're fast or you're not. And you could be as smooth as you want, or you could be herky jerky and be fast. And there are plenty of national champions who've shot in many of the different gun games who did not look smooth but won the national championship with fastest person. And look at Miklik. Miklik, if he goes real slow or he does something and he's talking to, he looks like, you know, he's poetry in motion. But when you see him in matches, there's a whole, he is short and to the point. You go from holster to on target as fast as possible. Not this smooth, take up the slack. And that's training, that's basic stuff. When it gets down to it, you have to actually put rounds down range. And these guys are fast, and you have to quantify that. And the only thing you really can do that with is a shot timer.
So mag dumps.
Mm-hmm.
So what are some of the craziest things you've been seeing online about mag dumps? Because I know some of the stuff I've been seeing is they're just going crazy.
Mm-hmm.
They just pull up their gun and then shoot in an area. They never show the target because it's spraying all over the place.
Right.
They can't control the gun. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just a waste of ammunition. It really serves no purpose at all.
It serves no purpose when you're doing a mag dump. But if you're doing controlled burst, or even if you're doing up to 4, 5, 6 rounds and you're maintaining it, but just to, you know, rattle off rounds, that's what you do with new people who've never shot a gun before, because they all want to do it. They all want to do it. When I get that out of when we're doing classes with not young, but new people and young as well, get to a certain point and you can tell they, one round at a time, 2 rounds at a time, they want to do it. Just stop the class, let them have some fun. It's a fun thing. I'm not going to take away saying it's not fun, but at the same time, what's the relevance? Suppressive fire, and if you're doing suppressive fire, that's a whole different, more of a surgical mag dump, so to speak, because it's serving a purpose. It's not just, we do it in certain trainings that you lead, where we're doing suppressive fire, and technically, if you want to be, oh well, look what he's doing, it's similar, but we have movement involved in it, and it's a purpose, not just shooting 16 rounds into the water or 17 rounds at a tree.
And you're aiming, and that's a whole different ballgame.
Right,
You're
and
aiming
that too, right? Yeah. And you're trying, you're firing repeated rounds, but you're trying to engage a target. You're not just sporadically go anywhere. It doesn't matter where they go. And that's the biggest thing. But there's a lot of, you remember the Twitch, so a lot of homemade celebrities or social media celebrities that promote mag dumping, shooting into the abyss.
Let me tell you, well, it's mostly if you ever fired a machine gun, you notice everybody who fires a machine gun for the first time, what's the one thing you're going to see right after they get to shooting is they're going to have a big smile on their face.
Right.
So it's called a machine gun smile, because they get the big kick out of shooting something that's so powerful and controlling. And they can get it. So the mag dump for the semi-automatics is the almost the simulation of the automatic weapons.
I agree with that.
That's about as close as you can get to it, And some people, they'll never ever actually fire an automatic weapon. So they want to do the mag dumps because it looks good in the movies and the TV, and so that's why they want to do it, and it makes them feel good. They have a happy smile on their face. It's burned up. This day and age, you burn up $40 in about a couple of seconds.
Exactly.
But it serves no purpose. I wouldn't do it in real life, because mag dumps, if you look a lot of the police shootings, when mag dumps happen between law enforcement and the criminal, when they do it between once shooting back and forth at each other, they be throwing rounds all over the place, and the potential targets never get hit.
Of course,
everybody around the targets get hit.
It's like in Pulp Fiction with the two, John Travolta and Samuel Jackson standing there, and the rounds go everywhere.
But yeah. It's the same theory, and or you can look at mostly drive-by shootings. Drive-by shootings is a mag dump, and they never hit anybody. It's always an innocent child or somebody sitting in the house eating cornflakes that get hit by a stray bullet, and it's like, come on now, got to stop the mag dumps. They serve no real purpose except for you just want to have fun,
But when we talk about magazine dumps, and now looking at semi-automatic rifles or pistol, but you also see it with shotguns. You see people just pulling, even pumps, bang, 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 and I think that's like the glitz, so to speak. And again, I don't know, because I don't do it. So I think when people see that, they get excited, because when I read the comments, there are always positive comments by that, but there's also coming from people who don't know any better. So it's always like, oh yeah, you know how to handle that. Well, you didn't do anything surgical or even practical with that when you just let off and fire.
Right. Well, it just looks good for the gram. That's basically what it does. Yeah. So yeah, you see a lot of that with the shotguns. They rapid fire pumping and all this other good stuff. They don't even realize what they're doing it for. I mean,
that's my point. There you go.
Yeah, a trench shotgun. If some back in the day when they had World War II trench shotguns, a trench shotgun was designed when you pumped it and came back, it was a slam fire. So you didn't have
on the trigger.
Yeah, keep the finger on the trigger, and once you slammed it and pumped it, it fired.
Right.
And so that's So if you had
binary trigger,
right. So if you had multiple targets in the trenches, you can just slam fire and do them like that. So that's why it was designed that way. And
I think there's a Winchester, if that was right. It was
It,
before
it was a
the
yeah, I see.
870.
Yeah, there was a specific trench shotgun they designed, and
Hmm.
that's all it was. Just and it had a bayonet fix on it,
Yeah,
and it was
I've seen them.
yeah, it was all. I almost bought one in Vegas, but it was so beat up. It was been a collector's piece, and it looked
Hmm.
like it fought in several wars.
Right,
So,
right.
guy wanted 150 for it. I was like, nah. If you come down a little
Wow.
cheaper, yeah, I would have probably bought it.
Right.
But it was just going to be a collector's piece, and
Hmm.
um, but that's where that comes from, the slam fire,
Hmm.
and you're doing with shotgun, yeah. If you're actually aiming at targets, and most of these guys shooting these shotguns, they never show you the targets.
Right.
So that's another thing. If you're gonna
Well, when they
do,
do, they're only 3 feet away, and they show you this devastating hole in the
yeah,
target, and it's like, okay, that you can't miss at 3 feet, bro.
right. Do
But
that same
technically,
thing at 20 yards or 15
hmm,
yards with slugs.
right.
You know what I'm saying? Then
Hmm.
mix it in and come, do some charging with double a buck. You can do the same thing with double a buck at 15, 20 yards,
Right.
So mix it in and do the same thing, and see how that works, and show it. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? Yeah.
But that's the same thing when we, this part of the topic that we're talking about in mag dumps, in that trigger control. That leads to you can hide a lot of issues such as anticipation or pulling and pushing the trigger when you just going bang, 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 bang. You can't tell what just happened. So
Mm-hmm.
when you go down range and everything's scattered all over the place anyway, it reminds me of a lot of the guys when they post bad targets. They'll say this was not rapid fire. They'll say not what's the other one? They say successive fire or rapid fire. That don't mean you miss.
Right.
You got a B-57 type of target or B-27 target, and it's silhouetted and black on the inside and a white outline. You got 4 or 5 rounds on the white, but they're going to tell you, well, that was rapid fire. That doesn't mean you miss. Just
Mm-hmm.
because it's rapid fire don't mean you miss. But that's the excuse. So I was going fast.
Right.
That's the
Right.
point.
Right.
That's what we're talking about. You
Right.
can't miss fast enough to win a gunfight.
Right. Right. Yeah. It's proven fact. Because one, you stop looking at the front sight, you start
Mhm.
looking at the target, and you're just pulling the trigger, and next thing you know, your gun's probably pointing to the far right, to the far left,
Right.
and you're just pulling that trigger, and you're like, I got you, and like,
Hmm.
no, you never hit them,
You never, right. And
yeah,
that's the same thing when we see as ROs and match directors, when you people complain about certain things and they swore they hit them because they swore they put one in an A and that this miss is wrong. I know I hit that target, but you walk down range and you look at the target no matter how many times over and over and over again, and there's only one hole in there. You missed.
mm-hmm.
And, some
Yeah,
guys just can't accept that because in their brain they saw the front sight, they saw everything lined up, and somewhere they snatched it, pushed it, pulled it, it
right.
went somewhere where it wasn't supposed to, and they just, they're upset. I've been there with some
Oh, it
up and
happened.
in people.
Yeah, it happened to
You
me, and I had a master shooter pull me aside and said, "Trust your sights. If you're looking behind your sights and your sights got every indication that they're supposed to have, they're lined up, sight line aside the picture, and you pull that trigger, it's going to go where you're looking. So
Mhm.
you got to
So
trust your
so
sights."
what happens if you miss after doing all of that? Do you blow a gasket at the
I'm
RO?
gonna I'm gonna blame it on the ammunition. It was bad ammo, or my gun was dirty,
Right.
or
Okay. But
yeah,
see, at least that's
right.
better. I've had dudes where they wanted to have a full-on discussion as to you know me, I don't miss. You missed
Oh,
that one.
you serious?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
You
Well, it was
know
only
me,
one
I don't
hole.
miss.
That's what they told me. You know me, I
Mm,
don't miss.
right.
And it was only one hole in the target.
You
And
missed
it's like,
today.
but you missed that
You
one.
missed.
And
You
and
missed today.
and this is back in the day with IDPA out of South River, like 12, 13. And the match director there, he looked at it, and that was my stage, and he said he's right. And I
Right.
mean, and I don't want to go down the whole list of who's what and who's
You
who,
know
but
me, I don't miss. What you guys? What
and
you supposed?
yeah,
I just supposed to punch a hole in that for you?
exactly. And I'm telling you, it's one of those deals when
Eh,
you're Yeah, I would still say I was pretty new. I had been a RO at that point since 2011, and they said it was more like 12, 13 instead of 13, 14. And it was one of the biggest matches that I had participated in. And it was one of those deals where I can't think of the other guy's name that was working with me. He had more experience, but it was at that point that it was my turn. We were taking turns scoring and keeping the clock.
Right, right.
And it was my
Oh,
turn.
Nails questioning your
Oh,
ability.
well,
Yeah.
not only question my ability, I wasn't the one shooting. I had shot the day
Right,
before. I'm good.
right.
But the thing was, I noticed. I don't know him, but I knew this guy. I saw him out the range numerous
Mm-hmm.
times. He's a professional, sponsored shooter, all that good stuff. Got
Right,
pointers from him. We're still cool now, but at that
right,
day, he was not happy with me
right.
because he said that target. He went from it that he didn't miss to that target wasn't pasted prior to him scoring.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah.
Well, then that means you missed
Yeah.
twice.
Right,
Because
right.
if that one hole was there before,
You,
that means that you didn't hit it at all. You
right,
failed to neutralize, and then it was
right,
like, yeah, well, I'm just saying, I don't. And then it's like, So he was
right,
scrambling, and I mean, these guys got to win at all costs, so they
right.
don't
And
want to lose on some technicalities.
right, right. Well, that's a whole different subject, but I would say they get even mad when you call a procedure on them.
Hmm.
They
Right.
will argue up and down.
But that's what I was getting at with
Right,
back to the mag dumps and that is the type of situation that occurs where you see the sites, that you're going to, like what you mentioned, the tip that you received, at that point there's nothing that can happen. Nothing
right,
can happen to not hit your target.
right,
But when you're doing a mag dump, you don't have that confirmation. You point the gun in whatever direction, and you're just pulling the trigger. It's almost worse than an Instamatic camera, bro. You
right,
just snap, 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 snap,
right.
and don't know what the hell you captured.
And you're thinking the target's supposed to react like the movies, and it don't. It will
Mm-mm,
not react that way, and it's
mm-mm.
going to act totally different than what you expect, and
Right.
that's what's going to blow your mind. You know,
And the sad part is what you mentioned about the cornflake eater. That person's minding their damn business,
right,
and next thing you know, they're gone,
right,
based upon some idiot's anger or thinking that he going
right.
to the range, and this other one go to the range and train, but you're
Mm-hmm.
doing the same thing you did last time, so you're practicing, not training.
Right,
Um, but that leads into the second one with the same thing with mag dumps, where you got a spread. Now we talk about shooting groups, right?
mm-hmm.
And guys want to put round on top of round
Oh,
on top of
shooting
round.
groups or shooting? Yeah, I got it right. Shooting groups.
Shooting groups, yeah.
Yeah, I thought you was talking about. I thought you was talking about shooting groups.
Oh
Like
no, not shooting
people.
groups of people. No, shooting groups
Right.
as far as stacking bullets on top of
Yeah.
each other.
Okay.
So and that's what it was kind of when I was looking it up. I was looking at it and I said, you got mag dumps and you got a spread. You got shooting groups where you're trying to bring it in tight.
Mm-hmm.
The effectiveness of shooting a group is good for marksmanship, but
Mm-hmm.
that's about it. So if you're playing bullseye or you participating in like CMP and you're making an 800-yard shot and you're trying to hit a bullseye, 300-yard shot, trying to hit a bullseye, whatever, that's great. 50-yard shot with a pistol, making a bullseye, that's great. But when it comes down to the individual citizen training, having a tight group is almost meaningless. And I'm going to say that. And this comes from the research.
Wait a minute. Say
and
that again.
listening to-
Say that.
Having a
Say.
tight group, having a tight group at the range is almost meaningless
Right.
when it comes down to gunfighting.
Right.
That's what I said.
Mm-hmm.
And I can go online and either use this one or the laptop in front of me or another computer, and I can prove it to you, because you can go and shoot the tightest group you want. You can have, I'm not gonna call any names because Twitch might not like it. So you can have this guy that doesn't have any skills, but doesn't practice, and he may best you in a one-on-one based upon his willingness and just him doing his mag dump, because you're still standing there trying to find that front sight and get the perfect shot
every single time you pull the trigger.
He done mag dumped you,
right?
But his chopper, and now you standing there still looking for that front sight with 4 holes in it.
Right.
See, So
Right.
we have to marry accuracy and speed. That's one
Mm-hmm.
of the things I tell people all the time. Once they get their feet wet and start moving along and understand the firearms and safety of firearms, especially, go take a match. Go participate in a match. You don't have to do it every month, every week. Do it once, because then it starts to show you the
Where your
speed at
and your weak
which
points are at.
that too, but
Yeah.
it also shows you the speed at which you have to perform in order to win. Even if you're coming in as a marksman or a sharpshooter and you don't have a classification, you will see people who are dedicated. I know guys that have been shooting IDPA and IPSC for years, and they're still in sharpshooter because that's the best that they're going to be. But
Mm-hmm.
they're good
They
guys.
won't push outside the box.
Well,
That's
not
they
only
have
not
to.
pushing outside the box, some of these dudes,
Yeah.
that's just the best they're going to get.
Yeah, but you got
Some
to push
people,
out. You got to
no,
push outside the box. I mean, I had
I'll
to.
do
I had to.
offline. Yeah, offline. I'll
I
tell you the people's name, and I looked them up
no.
recently,
Yeah.
and they're
No. Yeah.
still
Yeah.
the same people,
Yeah.
still sharpshooters. They say they enjoy shooting. They're not
Here,
trying to be an expert. They're not trying to be master. You got a phone call.
no. I got somebody's statement. Accuracy and the volume is good, but training can't beat, especially when there are
Yeah,
others around you. That's
absolutely,
right.
because you can't
Yeah.
afford to miss.
Right.
You can't afford to miss. And
Right.
that's where I said, that finite group of 5 rounds inside of a quarter has nothing to do with gunfighting. So
Mm-hmm.
going to the range and you can prove it to me, that's great. I respect that. But when it comes down to defending yourself and your family, and just like that
There's
comment just made, if there's other people, you have to be surgical, but you still have to be fast, because you
right.
can't miss. And you just can't mag dump into a crowd because that dude is aggressing you.
Right. Yeah, and how to do that, and a lot of people, well, we're jumping back to the mag dump, and we're combining it to mag dumps and shooting
Well,
groups.
that's what
Yeah,
the
if
progression.
if there's a large group, that's why you have to close onto the target. You have to bring the distance closer. You
Mhm.
can't. You have to advance on it, and the closer you are, and the more you advance on the target, which is scary for most folks to do.
Mhm.
And because now you're putting yourself in danger, and you may lose your life doing this. So you have to close in onto the target in order to get a proper shot, not just one, but
Mhm.
a multitude of shots in where you need them to be, and not minimize the risks around the target,
Right.
So,
Mhm.
uh,
Especially if you're by yourself, and that's one of the things that you always have to train for, is that there won't be backup. There won't
no,
be somebody there to bail you out.
no.
That it's just you.
Yeah, at that
Now
point,
what you gonna do?
you got to go for the gusto. You got to do what you
Right.
got to do.
Mhm.
But shooting groups, um, the biggest thing. You remember the what is that called? The bill drill when you draw six, when you
Yep.
draw and
At
shoot six,
10-6 from 10 yards.
as
I
fast as
think
you
it's 10
can,
feet. Yeah, as fast as
as
you can.
fast as you can. Yeah, I can
Mhm.
do that and keep them in maybe about 5 or 6 inch circle.
I think it's an
And
8-inch plate is what it's supposed to
yeah,
be
yeah,
on.
yeah. I can keep them pretty tight. And um, but it took practice, because when
Mhm.
that happens, when I draw doing something like that, my mind is screaming. My head is screaming one thing: front sight, front sight, front sight. And once I got the grasp of that front sight and I pull that trigger, and that's all I'm screaming is control the gun, front sight, control the gun. And it's a lot that's going on in the brain, and a lot of
Right.
people don't realize, in order to get that tight group, you
Mhm.
know.
Well,
So
see, build drill at what you just said is a accumulation of volume, as
hmm
the comment says, volume of rounds
hmm
and accuracy married.
hmm
So, but what you said, and the same thing you just said, I was going to talk to you about with the guys that we know that are still at the same level,
hmm
pushing through. You push through. And
hmm
I got a drill that I work with, and I'm working with Omar right now. We did it last week. There's a drill where we have a small target, and you force yourself to hit that target at speed,
right.
not finding a front sight and lining the sights up and squeeze. You on as you're drawing, you find that sight and you hit it. And I saw a number of people doing something similar, and I came up with it. And I used just pasties. I put pasties on the target, got 3 across. the front of the target and just look at the target and bang. So it's a combination of marksmanship and instinctual shooting, because you have to be able to point your firearm or anything. But Omar did it with the rifle, I did it with the pistol. Then we went back and forth, did it with the rifle, pistol, back and forth. You have to point. That's the key, is where you're pointing. So you're not wasting time finding the front sight, then the rear sight, and get the gun. By the time you draw, all you're doing is reconfirming. When you
it should be already out there.
It's just
But
confirming
see, that's
you're already on it.
But that comes from looking at the target and looking at the target and where you want your shot placement. And once you do that, and only when you draw, your gun should come directly in that path where that's where your eye is leveled at. And the only thing you got to do is pull the trigger.
You know what you just did? You know what
What?
you just did, right? You just
What?
explained how to use a red dot.
A red dot.
That's how you just explained how to do a red dot. You look at the target, and
Oh.
the gun you superimpose the dot onto the target.
Yeah, it's imaginary. I have some.
But you could do the same thing with iron sights. See, people don't get it because they're still traditional and afraid to think outside the box. And that if you point the gun in the direction you want it to go, right, and then you got that front sight is superimposed on your target, the muzzle is already. All you're doing is just confirm that the muzzle is where you want it to be.
Right. Let your eyes find the target.
Right.
Fire
you squeeze
first.
the trigger and it's going to go.
Right.
But that's the difference with gunfighting. So what we do is we started practicing that marksmanship aspect, but in a gunfighting time. So we're doing it in under a second. So 3 feet away. Go ahead.
Well, I was going to say, well, nobody knows a gunfighting time. So a gunfight, a gunfighting time can be. Let's go back to that video where it wasn't a gunfight, but that guy just got acquitted for shooting the other guy. You remember the two guys?
Yeah,
okay.
Talking about.
That was to see how that escalated, and it went and it kept escalating. We knew
like
what was going.
That's not a gunfight. That was a damn murder, straight up. I mean,
yeah, we can't say that because he was acquitted. You know?
Yeah, but opinions based upon Al's experience of 20 some odd years of law enforcement, he murdered him.
Right. I know what you're saying. But I'm just saying that you see how the progression is going to go. You're not going to walk out on the street and all of a sudden, boom, one gun comes out, another gun comes out like Wild Wild West, and just it's going to be something that's going to escalate it. Right. And it's going to
action versus reaction. Keep going.
Right. Action versus reaction. Now, your reaction is it should be walk away, be the humble person, and just keep moving.
Right.
And because words can't hurt you, only the physical action can. And if you can do that, that'll be that'll diffuse. It won't diffuse it, but at least it gets you out of the area. Right. And let's see what this. We got another question here.
Sif 115. I like that.
I'm not great at a handgun shooting unless I take my time. That being said, I do a quick draw at like 5 to 10 feet. That's which is good, and shoot alpha every time. Yep. But when I get to 25 yards, I have a hard time hitting consistently quickly. You should never go. Well, let me read the rest of it. Do you have any tips on improvement? Yes. 25 yards is slow. It's not fast. So you can draw out fast, and you got to concentrate on your breathing, sight picture, sight alignment, and put it out there and get that first shot. Once you feel that first shot is right, follow it up with 2 more. But you have to slow yourself down almost in a 25-yard shot, basically trying to bring as much oxygen into your body as you can, and to get your heart rate to slow down. If you can get your heart rate to slow down and get your mind to concentrate on nothing but sight picture and sight alignment, you should have a clean 3 rounds into that A zone easily at 25 yards. It can easily be done. You got anything you want to add? Yeah.
Cover. 25-yard line. 25 yards, you should be behind cover.
Oh, that's it. Yeah. That's a good one. That's a good one.
I'm talking about gunfighting. 25 yards. Now he's actually talking about for practice. So if
he's talking about for practice.
25-yard line. What I suggest is this similar everything that Al said, But when you're at the 25-yard line, that's when you start to squeeze and forget about squeezing. Forget about the trigger at that point. Just
Right.
focus on the front sight and let that shot go off. That's when you actually have surprise shots. That's marksmanship. That's precision shooting. Is that point when you start to bring the trigger back and you just let it keep coming. After you line the sights up and everything, you just keep coming back. Don't disturb that sight picture. And that's how you make 25-yard shots.
Right.
That's how you make 50-yard shots. That's how you
Right.
make 100-yard shots with a handgun. Because
Yeah.
once you get past 50, then depending on your gun, you're going to start having to do what's called holdover. So at 25 yards, so like for me in particular, I shoot 9mm and 45 exclusively. But when I used to shoot PPC, which is police practical competition, I shot 38. Another guy shot 357, but I shot 38 only because I remember and I had a better knowledge of where that bullet drops. So I shot a 686 Smith & Wesson, and for me, I held right here and never single action because I'm a grown man. But
right. You
I
double
shot
action
right there, double action all the time. And the thing about double action is, and this is what.
But you
Mike
saying,
doesn't
hold
watch
on. Now
Mhm.
I'm gonna get
Go
you
ahead.
because the gunfighters back in the day had single action.
The gun was single action.
Yeah, the gun was single action.
Right, but my gun's a double action, so I don't put it in single action because I'm a grown man.
No, okay, all right,
Right.
okay,
See,
okay.
well, if you and people out there, I've talked to people who they say, "Man, when I put it in that single action, yeah, that's because you're still kiddie. You're still kid.
Oh my
Learn
God.
the trigger press. Learn the trigger
Oh
press. Learn
my
the trigger press.
God.
And
Oh
you,
my God.
Big Mike, if you watch, because he says he watches. When I do that with the Beretta, I'm doing the same thing. That's why the Beretta, the 686,
Right.
the Doc, I'm from the double action era. So
Right.
when I start
And you never
squeezing, I
polish,
hold.
and you never polish your
Nope.
trigger.
The only way I polish my triggers is by shooting them.
Right.
The more I shoot them, the more polished they get. The more dry fire I do, the more polished they get. I've never opened anything.
Right.
Never had a trigger job. All I do is I stage.
Right.
See, that's what I learned to do is stage. And this was taught to me back in like 1987, 1988. And
when Al had a trigger. And Al used to shoot a catapult too. So
I should ask my wife with the what's the name of that the catapult?
A trebuchet. Yeah.
Yeah, the trebuchet. That's what I use.
Yeah.
You heathens use the catapult. We use the trebuchet.
Right.
But yes, and I carried a sword and I had a mount.
All right. So, all right, Seth. So I have a 380 Walther PPK. Good gun. I love them. For everyday carry. It's double action. First shot. And so I feel that double action pull. Just got to shoot.
Because it's probably 12 to 15 pounds.
Yeah, you just got to shoot.
Yep. And that's a heavy pull trigger.
And so how you wear it down is dry fire it a lot, and just wear it down, and till it becomes smooth. Or do hand exercises and get your strength in your hand up. So squeeze a ball. What's that triangle thing that it's
No, man, they
got one
individual fingertips.
Yeah, that's one
on my desk today.
Yeah, that's the one. Get that one and strengthen your finger muscles and your hand muscles, and that will help out a lot.
Yep.
Yeah. Matter of fact, I should do that, huh?
Yeah, I have one in my car, and I have one around here somewhere, but I don't see it in that. I do it all the time. I mean, when you sit around doing it, like driving, especially, and there's the packages. One that I bought was so many years ago. I mean, I bought this in the 90s. The package actually had a tang. The grip has a tang on it to simulate a gun, and they showed you how you don't use the first one, use the second one, and that makes it feel as though your finger is in a trigger guard. Right. Yeah, so it definitely helps. And with guns like that, you just got to understand the gun, because the double action is, to me, as far as self-defense, probably the best trigger out there. I know safe action guys and whatever they're calling it now, striker fire, and everybody's, wants to be fast. But when it's on the line and you're going to be judged later for your actions, that double action, because if you can stop pulling the trigger. If the action stops, the person stops doing what they did to draw your attention to them or cause you to defend yourself, they drop the knife, they drop the bat, that long trigger, you may be, and I'm telling you, you can be in it. And next thing you know, you look down and it hadn't gone off yet because it's in double action or it's in a safe mode, and you can stop. And if that person stopped and all these video cameras are rolling and you still
you're down. You're done. You're done.
I hope you got your legal aid paid up.
Yeah, you're done.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, in this day and age, baby. Yeah. Back in when they didn't have all these cell phones. Yeah.
Speaking about mag dumps, I saw a video of a guy and he's building his repertoire. Pisses off a lot of people, so he goes up to like 8,000 followers and then he goes back down to 4 because he'll say something and a whole group of people will leave his following or whatever they call it. And he mentioned this thing where he was drawing a gun as fast as he could and he come up on target and he wouldn't pull the trigger. And he said, "You got," and it's basically what I just said in reference to if it should have the action of the bad guy or the aggressor stops
or takes off and runs.
Stop. That takes off and runs.
Takes off and runs.
Or somebody walks in between you and him, you
right?
know, and being able to stop. And then I thought about it, and my first response was, first off, that's kind of dumb, and then second was, that's what you got dry fire for.
Yeah.
You know, but I think a lot of people don't dry fire the way I dry fire, and that they dry fire to a bang or a click, should I say, at the end. And for me, you know, I have a 286 processor, so I'm not as fast as these Pentium kids. So when I draw on dry fire, I'm not concerned with the click because this doesn't help me dry firing this. It helps my gun. It may smooth things out, but dry firing for accuracy with no ammunition in the gun
doesn't help.
But this part, that's what
you're trying to get used to.
This part with snap caps.
Because you're trying to get that muscle memory. You're trying to get that muscle memory going because once the action happens, you're going to be in a different zone.
Right.
And usually it's going to feel like an out-of-body experience.
Mm-hmm.
So you got to be able to do stuff without actually thinking about it. It just automatically happens. Your gun jams, boom. You put another magazine, boom, and keep going. It just happens.
I totally agree with what you just said. Now listen to this. So what happens when the gun goes click, but you've been practicing click for the
you're going to sit there and look at it. But you just program yourself to look at it, and that's what you're going to do.
Or you program yourself to come out, click. That's good. Come out, click. That's good. So then you're in a real situation, and you bang, 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 click. Oh, that's not good. Too late.
Prime example.
Too much time.
Everybody knows that's true because if you go read the FBI report from the shooting that happened when the FBI down in Florida, when they were picking up the shell casings because they thought there's cells in the range, when stress hit, they went back to training, how they were trained. So you need to, training is critical on what you need to do. You need to prepare, train for malfunctions, train for things that don't work. Don't just train for Hollywood all the time because that beautiful gun you rubbing on and cleaning every night after you shoot it may jam on you. Right. You know what I'm saying? And so what are you going to do? Are you going to, if you're going to get it, I've seen this, guys who's running primary, secondary, they run in the primary is a rifle goes down, and instead of them going straight to the pistol, they sit there and try to fix the rifle. That's like, what are you doing? Especially if the target is with less than 20 yards.
Right.
That's a pistol shot easily.
Right.
So
that goes back to the question in reference to 25 yards. In real world, 25 yards, you should be trying to get the hell away from that.
Right.
Unless
you can
have
escape.
The obligation, right?
You can escape.
You have the obligation to do something. You're a citizen that is legally armed, and you have it. Go for it. If you don't have it, you don't have any obligation. You get you and your family and you get out of there.
Right.
Because 25 yards is a good distance to hide, especially in an urban setting.
Yes, it is. Yeah.
There should be cars, buildings, something, dumpsters, something to get behind.
That'll give you enough to, especially if you got your family with you. I'm not trying to get in a gunfight. Right. So first thing I'm going to do is try to shield myself from the family to get the family out of there as quickly as possible, diffuse whatever I can, get some distance. Now, if you're going to corner or escape, then we have to deal with that.
Right.
But if I'm by myself, I have to let my
fun.
No, I gotta let my ego go. I gotta let it go because even if you win it, there's lawsuits.
Right.
There's other things behind it that can
Well,
also.
I'm talking about somebody that's directly aggressing you, not
Oh,
that dude in
direct.
the mall, not that
I
guy
can't
at,
say
at
what I
Piggly
want to.
Wiggly.
Well, I can't say that. I can't say
Right.
what I would do because every scenario is different. And if you
Hmm.
say what you want to do, a lot of these platforms are sitting here and judge you on it and shut down your channel. So um, everything is going to be different. But the first thing I'm going to do is try to figure out how to escape, how to diffuse.
Right.
Because
That's my point. Is
right.
25 yards is definitely enough space to get the heck out of there, and
Hmm.
that goes back to the accuracy point because when you start shooting groups and you're in an actual gunfight, nobody asks you, did you, even in movies, you never see a guy say, yeah, I got him in the chest, I got him in the bullseye. They see a blood trail, they say he's hit. That's what
Right.
counts as a hit. They say he's hit and they track the blood trail. Or the two guys behind cover and they looking at him and they're like, we fired multiple rounds, and they'll say to each other, I think I hit him. He's got to be hurt. That kind of stuff. They never say, well, yeah, I think I got a headshot on him. I had a
Right.
bullseye.
I hit it. No, I hit him in the. I hit him in the A zone.
Exactly. No, you never
No,
hear that.
no. Oh, I got him. I got him in the C zone.
Exactly. Like, damn, I think I got a D on him.
Right.
Mike, I mic'd him. No,
Right.
they
Right.
either
Right.
say it is or it isn't. And
Right.
that's the thing that I think when it comes down to shooting groups, because I see it so much on social media. Guys trying to put, 5 or 6 rounds in a quarter. And then that's not even to talk about the distance away. We haven't even touched on that part. You got guys that are on there. What did they say? 21 feet. Okay, you mean 7 yards? So
Mm-hmm.
so the length of a car is what you're
Mm-hmm.
talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But they'll say it in feet because it sounds
It
long.
sounds bigger.
Right. It sounds
Right.
bigger. So, yeah, I
Right.
did this at 50 feet, 15 yards. Like,
Right.
are you serious? Serious? And that's not impressive. It's not
Right.
impressive. Do it at 25 yards. Do it
Right.
at 50 yards. And
Yeah.
then post that stuff up. And that's what I think it kind of gets mixed because I've had what's our buddy's name? The captain, urban captain guy. Courtney got on me one day on Facebook. I posted this picture this a few years ago, and it was after one of your classes when we destroy those targets. I mean, those
Yeah.
targets. I feel comfortable because I
Right.
don't like throwing cardboard away that could be recycled or reused
Right.
again.
Right.
But after those classes, there's nothing left. Right?
Right.
This Swiss cheese. And he
Right.
was like, "Wow, it looked like a lot of misses." I said, "Misses? Every hole in their target's a hit. What are you
Right.
talking about?"
Right.
And I'm like, I know he's a precision shooter and he likes putting his gun on a stand, like you give it like it's like an old man gun. You put the gun on top of the stand, and I know it's sharpshooters and
Right.
call
Well, he's a
snipers,
long
they
distance
do.
shooter. He's a long
Right,
distance shooter.
I got that, and they're
Yeah.
based on accuracy, but he also understands. So when we had a little discussion on that, and it was like, this was a lot of moving and a lot of shooting, and kept saying so, but I know he's being a
Yeah.
so
He's
he
being a
just kept
troll.
going so,
Right.
and I'm like, okay, I got you. So I said, so you mean to tell me that every time, even if you take one step to your left or one step to your right, everything's right down the gut, and then
Right.
then after that kind of died down. But it's those type of deals where people mentally start to think that you have to keep all your rounds inside of a zone
Right.
in order to win a gunfight, and
Right.
that's when you lose. The
Right.
first one that hit, you're gonna stop that guy. Not only will you stop him, and I'm not talking about incapacitation, but I'm talking about make him think about something else.
Right.
You follow me?
If they're not hyped up on adrenaline or drugs.
Even that, even you,
Yeah.
I've seen it, even not with guns, but with batons.
Right.
And all of a sudden he's like, "Oh, you just hit me," and then
Right.
and then it's like they slow down. I mean, they're still not aware of what's actually going on, and they're still trying to do the stupid thing that they were doing to draw our attention to them in the first place. But I'm telling you, you give them a good crack, and all of a sudden they stare right at you like, "What did you do that for?" Because
Okay.
you're on PCP, bro.
Right.
Yelling
Right.
about the ants crawling on you. Get these ants off me. True
Okay.
story. True story.
Right. Right. Wow.
Anybody
Well,
from Squad 13 out there, you tell them.
So shots timers.
Mm-hmm.
Should you have them or shouldn't you have them?
I believe in shot timers. The only
Yeah.
reason why is because you got to quantify yourself. You got to. If you can't tell how fast something was done, I'm the fastest dude you ever met. I could tell you that all day long. How do I
Right.
prove it?
You
And
gotta
then
have
you and
some.
me go to the range and I show you, whoop, whoop, look at that. Look how fast that is. Look how fast that is.
That's
And you
ninja
go, yeah,
fast.
man,
That's
you fast. And
right.
you go, so you gonna be like, yeah, you fast. Then we put on the
Right.
time and it turns out I was 4 seconds for one
Right.
shot.
Right.
Draw the gun, pow.
Right.
That's not fast.
Right. And the
And
other person.
Nowhere, nobody can tell me. So one of the other things when it comes to shot timers is the 2-second rule. The 2-second rule, people don't. I did some research on it because I wanted to find out for myself. The 2-second rule came about somewhere around the 45, 50 era when
That's the one you drop something.
Came back.
You drop something on the ground and you pick it up in 2 seconds.
Oh no, that's 5-second rule.
Oh, that's 5 seconds.
That's so you don't lose your candy.
Okay.
You know that's
Right.
good, that's good money right there. But when they came back from World War II, a lot of military dudes became law enforcement officers. So they came up with a standard of 1 second per, was it 3 yards? So I'm sorry, 1 second for a half a yard and a half. And you can look it up. I found it the same way you'll find it. So at 3 yards, that was the kind of like standard for gunfighting at that time. And Los Angeles PD, when they did the 3 yards, gave the officer 2 seconds to draw and fire 2 rounds. So that was from the holster, and that became the standard. And it was never really quantified as to why or anything like that. It was just that that's what they thought. And not until the 60s when Tula came around and they did the 21-foot rule, did they start to realize that standing still in one spot wasn't the greatest thing.
Right.
Wasn't the greatest thing. So that's what I tell people. When you got a guy that shoot bullseye flat-footed and he's putting 5 rounds of 9mm in the size of a quarter, that's all well and good. But as soon as he has to move, and in real life situation, you cannot.
And somebody and the rounds are coming back.
Yep, you can't.
Or
recreate.
the threat of the rounds
is moving. He ain't gonna be standing in either. When you go to draw your gun, he's gonna move too. You can't recreate that on the square range. You just can't. So as fast, and that's why I train my folks that we go as fast as we possibly can. It may not be fast, and I tell them you may not be fast enough to win. I may not be fast enough to win.
Right.
I'm pretty damn fast.
Right.
But I want to continue to keep practicing at the highest level that I can, not practicing some mediocre to make me feel good. Because I as a gentleman here said, or a person said here, that I didn't assume your gender. I'm sorry. So I'm doing that switch.
Another question going?
No. I just called him a him, and I don't know.
Oh, okay.
115 could be. If you can clarify, I don't mind. It's okay. But the thing is, I tell them you don't want to be in a situation where you're wasting time, and you don't want to waste movement or time, because movement is time. The more you get that elbow flanged out, and you gotta do the bowling draw, find the sights again, because now you're on a Maharaji type. You're getting sleepy. You get something like that. Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. But that is what we're going at. We're getting to a point where when you don't put the timer on, and I think a lot of the negativity that I say about the timer is because those people are just not fast. Those people are not increasing, like you said. The same is a classic example. I'm just going to recreate this. You said I pushed through. You said I pushed through. Then I said, well, these guys are good old guys, and this is what they want to do, and they have fun. They don't want to push through. But if
you got to push through.
To get better, you have to. And how do you get better? Shot time.
And what I always found when I push through, I get to a level, and then I push past that level, and then I get reckless.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Then once I got reckless, then I had to slow back down just half a second in order to get control. And that's where I shot at. Mm-hmm. And that's where then I increase my level. And every single time I push through, I do it again where I get reckless, and just then you'll back it back down to where you can actually hit something,
But you found your threshold. That's what you're doing.
All right. Here's one for you.
I recommend Pack Timer or see anything from CED.
Yeah,
I read it earlier.
they're on Amazon, aren't they?
Yep, all
Yeah,
of them. And there's
yeah.
a couple. The one that I use, I'm not really good with products.
The one you got on your arm,
I know. That's what. See, I knew you was gonna say that.
it
You
broke.
was gonna tell them. No, it
It
didn't
broke.
break. I got a new
Oh,
one.
oh, okay.
I got the last one. Thank you, Keisha. I got the last one. That probably in captivity because they went out of business.
Oh,
It's also alpha.
it's got a wind up on it, guys.
It's used a sundial. It's actually a sundial.
Right.
but yeah, anything from PACT, PACT, or
is that the
CED.
shop timers we use?
Yep, the blue one, and
Yeah.
then CED is the one that you have, is the square one.
Yeah, the square.
Those are two good companies.
Yeah, I don't like the blue ones. Yeah.
Pack Timer, a lifetime warranty. And
Oh,
it's
it
like
is?
$19. They'll fix it no matter what it is. And if they can't fix it, they'll work something.
What about
out.
the other one? Is it not low?
CED? I've never had any dealings with.
They
them
never
as far as
break, though.
customer service, right? That's the
Yeah, the only thing that the batteries is, I have dropped that thing and it's been in the rain and it still
and they
works.
also make that rubber housing for it too.
Oh,
So
I need
it's
to
pretty
get that.
good. Yeah.
Yeah.
They have like a case for it.
Right.
And they have the CED has the lanyard that you could hang around your neck. Dave Harrington when he used to in his training, used to have one on his wrist. I like that. But it was so small, I knew I would lose that. That's why I like the big one.
Right.
The blue one that you don't like, I like that one because it's
I just don't like it. It's awkward. The whole
and it's
that's why.
That is it like a triangle shape?
It's triangle. Yeah. It almost looks like a gigantic Star Trek badge or something like that. Yeah.
It does. Wow.
Right.
I didn't know you.
No, I'm not a nerd. I'm not into Star Trek.
But that came right off your mouth, man. I mean, we're on Twitch too, so we might pick up some fans. You say you like Star Trek.
Somebody in my household loves Star Trek.
Oh, okay. And if she loves it, you love it. I got you.
No, I don't love it. I can't even figure it out. I have no idea what's going on. Oh, see, look, here's a nerd right there. There's the nerd. Look at this guy.
I think I made it to 50 plus years old.
He got his Stark hands. What do you call that? I can't
long
even do
and
it.
prosperous.
Yeah.
Tell
Let's see
her,
with the camera.
Spock.
There it is. I got it. There it is. The shot timers are great to help judge yourself. I don't have a problem with it. I still use it. I keep one in my bag every time I go to the range. And when I'm out there by myself, I do crank it out and go for it. And it's just push myself, you know.
Well, I had a shooting partner back when I was doing IDPA for real, like really going for it. And one of the things we did is the same thing what you just said, what you did by yourself, is we pushed ourselves and basically see who can go faster. And if you don't do that, I mean, to the point where you said you had a breakthrough and then you got to the point where you weren't hitting anything, the exact same stuff. Right. I learned so many valuable lessons with that. In that he was watching me one day and I was practicing dry firing like crazy. And he said to me, and he's an instructor as well, he said, "Hey, when you dry fire, you use snap caps?" Damn snap caps. And he said, "Yeah." So what was happening on the range, and I was shooting 1911 and 9mm in different categories, and I would load 1911, and when I let that slide go, I'm coming back up, and I was coming up so fast that it was causing a jam. The first thing I'm thinking, hey, not me, it's the gun. Right. And looking at the gun, there's no problems with the gun. Both of us Colt backgrounds, so we're looking at the gun, nothing. And I'm like, I don't know what's going on. And I was sitting there watching. He's watching me, and he looked at it, and he said, "Man, you know what's happening?" He said, "You're coming up so fast that the gun hasn't cycled yet." So what do?
And you was taking the pressure off.
Yeah. I went one step better. Instead of getting snap caps, I had a buddy make dummy rounds with no powder and no and spent primers in it. And I put those in the gun. And when I put that in, it simulated what I needed it to simulate.
There you go. Do you guys carry rifles? I usually have one with me since I live on a ranch. Good point. I sometimes have it in my truck with my plate carrier just because of today's climate. I kind of want to be ready just in case. Now, for me, No, I don't carry a rifle unless I'm going out of town or going into an area that's going to be an hour away from home. Because I know I can fight my way back home with pistols and I still have a car.
Hmm.
If I'm an hour away and I need a hunker down, yes, I will carry a rifle and a full kit in that bag and at least 300 um, jelly beans to help support that thing. Uh, and the same with a resupply, and there's 72 hours worth of food in there, and it's basically a go bag that I
Hmm.
have. And it's not a bug out bag, it's a go bag. There's a difference between a bug out bag and a go bag. So we'll probably cover that topic one down the road one of these days.
Yeah, we should rehash that one.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm the same way.
But
I got good.
now I was gonna say for you on the ranch, yes, carry it. I say get you a strap and put it around your back and just carry it that way. And
You you've been making a lot of old jokes about me today, right? And I got that
who?
because we're both old. I heard you just saying
I,
that
I'm younger than you.
sundial and
I'm
all that.
younger than you. I'm
You said
younger than you.
strap.
Uh,
You said strap.
I said strap. I
Yeah, you
mean,
said get a
not
strap.
strap, not
What
strap.
do you mean a sling?
Sling. Have
You
it
said
slung.
a strap.
Have it
You said
slung
get yourself a
across.
strap.
Have it slung across your back. Hopefully, it's not a full size rifle, not a 16-inch. If you're going to carry a rifle and you're going to carry it all day, make sure it's a small, compact, light,
Hmm.
and something that doesn't bog you
Well,
down.
it's in the truck too, so you
Yeah,
can kind of like a 16-inch barrel is not too
right.
bad.
But in the city, no, I don't keep all that stuff in there because they break
Yeah,
it in the cars.
yeah, especially
My
if you leave your car out
Yeah,
somewhere. Yep,
and my car
absolutely.
is I don't have any stickers or anything like that, but I've
Mhm.
noticed everywhere I park my car because I got back tenant windows, I always see these handprints on my windows. They're constantly checking cars. So I don't keep anything in there unless I have it on me. So, that's the way I do that.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But as far as the plate carry and all that stuff, depending on your ranch and how far you are from your house, definitely, because that's what you're trying to fight back. Say he's got an 8-inch 300 blackout, so that makes perfect sense.
Oh yeah. 80-inch 300
Yep.
blackout. Boo,
Hmm.
that's a beast. That
Hmm.
is a beast. Oh my
Yep.
God. Yeah.
Perfect, almost the perfect length. I think
Yeah.
10 inches is perfect for 300 blackout, but
Yeah.
depending on if it's suppressed or not,
What
that
what type of muzzle brake you got on there? Because I know that thing is spitting some fire. You know, if you come back with that, and yeah, 8-inch 300 blackout, boy, that costs you what about $100 just to shoot that thing
hmm
nowadays?
hmm
Yeah.
a 300 blackout ammunition is probably like at the best that you could find it 180. See, and
Okay.
there's a QD for a suppressor.
Oh yeah, 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 yeah,
Yep.
yeah, yeah, yeah. So just remember, what you got? So is that the okay? He has
Yep.
it's a three port break.
Is that
Okay, cool.
the Safari Land one? I
Yeah.
think Safari Man makes one similar to that. That's what it sounds like.
Hmm.
Anyway, it's good stuff.
Yeah, that's some
It's
very
good
good
stuff.
stuff.
Yep.
Yeah, yeah, and thanks for supporting us on Twitch too,
Yeah,
and
man.
appreciate that.
Yep.
And yeah, that's some very good stuff. And also remember when you go ACC, I think AAC, I
Ah,
think.
okay.
Yeah, right. When you're
AAC.
shooting suppress, it does limit your distance and range
Mm-hmm.
on your firearm. So be very aware of that. It's all cool to be noiseless, but it's you do take away your range
Right.
when you use that. So me myself, I like going loud. I want you
Mm-hmm.
to know I'm there.
Yep.
So I'm gonna be like the Joker, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
I'm
I'm gonna
gonna
say it's funny because there's so many things that we kind of like, 50-50 on the opposite ends, but on when it comes down to this kind of stuff, definitely, I've never wanted to be, hidden, um, night fire and all that stuff. Guys are always talking about, even on 9 millimeters.
right,
They want to put not suppress, what's the compensate on 9 millimeter. Come on, man, you
right.
crazy, and
Yeah.
keep the muzzle flash down, dude. If you get into a shooting and you would legally have to shoot somebody, the hell are you worried about the muzzle flash for?
Yeah, yeah.
What are
And
you
because
worried
you're
about that
not,
for?
and because you're not going to be putting on eye protection, you're not going to be
Right.
putting on ear protection. And some of you guys, and I see you all the time training with gloves on, you're not going to be shooting with gloves on either.
Mm-hmm.
So that's
Well,
another one. You
well, what
know,
about the dudes that go on that same note that you just said? On the flip side of that, what about the guys that do that at the range and they don't wear eye protection and they're just practicing?
not wearing eye protection on the range.
I've
You
seen it
seen
a
it?
lot. Oh yeah, a lot. And
Wow.
not only that, you see guys and they got their face away from you, but they turn their head to the side, and you can see that there's no
I
band going from their eye to their ear.
I
They're not
was on
wearing eye
the
protection.
I was on the range, um, at one of our local range. A guy was shooting and he shot and they hit all the way at the backstop, and it came back and it caught him right on the side of his face, and
Dang.
that bullet did, and he was bleeding like a son of a gun, you know. And he finally
Mm-hmm.
said, "Well, you got to wear." And luckily, he had his eye protection on because it had glanced his eye protection and caught him on the side of his face.
Right.
And
Well, at the range that we go to, they don't care if you don't wear ear protection, but it's mandatory. It is mandatory
what are you talking
eye
about? The
protection.
outdoor range?
South River. When
They
you
don't
read
care.
that sign, when you come down and you're about to when you go past the clubhouse and go to the sign, you make the turn. It says right
Okay,
in front of you.
okay. So you wears a full kit when shooting at the
Mhm.
range.
Well, the
I got
thing
my
that
gloves, ears, eye pros, and plate carrier, and most of the time. Yeah.
when you just said that about eyes and ears and gloves, if you wear gloves when you practice, that's a good thing because
Mhm.
if you don't have them on, you'll be okay. It's when you
And
don't practice with them and then go to wear them and
now,
realize how much difference it is.
let me refine. I'm only talking about the guys who are shooting pistols. If you're
Mhm.
running a rifle, you can wear gloves all you want because that's unusual. You're going to be carrying a rifle. But you guys walking around concealed carry, and when I see you on the range practicing with gloves on, I know for a fact you're not walking around in public with those gloves on. So why are you training with them?
Mm.
Now, for instance, yeah, you run around with a full kit shoot. Yeah, that's totally okay. I used to shoot with a full plate carrier shooting IDPA. And I did that because as a running the match, I've had too many guns placed on me. But I got so used to running with that plate carrier and shooting that match, I ended up getting good with it. You know what I'm saying? So,
Mhm.
and when I took it off, I went super fast. You know, I was like
Mhm.
ridiculous. So yeah, you can train with it, and it's nothing was going to hurt. But I also was using it as an advertisement because I sold body armor too. So
Right.
yeah,
Mhm.
and but yeah, if you have it, you want to wear it because that's the biggest thing that a lot of people do is have all this gear and they don't put it on, and when they do put it on, feel like they're going to suffocate. You know what I'm
Yep.
saying?
They
So
have no
if you
idea
have it,
what it's
train
all
with it.
about.
Yeah, I wear it. I wear what I would wear to town and when I practice quick draw. Yeah, that's the best way to do it. Yeah,
Mhm.
that is the best way to do it. And yeah, you should, when you go practice, you should dress the same way that you conceal carry, and that's how you should train that way. You know what I'm saying?
I
Yeah,
agree with that.
yeah,
See,
yeah.
yeah, because
I don't
that I
carry.
think I think that gets you in the mindset of what you know, what you can and can't do. So if you have a plate carrier that's full cut, that's not a shooter's cut, but it comes all the way out to
Swimmer.
almost to your. No, it's not a swimmer's cut.
Oh, it's not a
It's the
swimmer's cut. You
older
got the.
style ones,
Yeah,
right? So you
yeah.
got
It's
something
gonna
like
hinder
that.
you.
You got,
Those are gonna hinder your draw.
but
Right,
if
and
you
you.
don't practice with that, you never take it out. You never train with it. You never practice with
Right.
it. And you go to lift that up, and you got a weld up here on your top of your cheek, and you trying to peek into the
And
scope.
see, the swimmer cuts came out because sitting in cars. If you
Hmm.
wear the old style and you sitting in, you got a steel plate carry, and you sitting in cars and try to draw. What?
It is. I'm
What?
telling you, bro. I'm telling you, I've been there. I was there, bro. Let me tell you. A second police department that I worked for in Prince George's County was bigger, like 3 times bigger than the agency that I left. So when I get to the next one, they didn't have our vest the first week that we were cut loose. So we had to go in and basically get a surplus vest.
Oh,
Some of these vests
Jesus.
were close to being outdated, but they were
Yeah.
like, "You'll be fine." You know, I guess they were averaging the fact that not many shootings were going to occur. Hope,
20 years
hope and
shelf
prayer.
life. Yeah.
Well, these jokers, I put this one on and standing up, fitted, and it was nice, felt good. Get in my FTO's car, Joker car. It was like a turtle. So, he, typical cop
What
humor.
the-
He looked over at me and said, "Are you afraid of something?" No. He said, "Look like you're hiding in your shell." I said, "Okay." Every time I got out of the car, it fit perfect. Sat down, I did this, and I'm driving in the car with my vest this high. It lasted for like maybe a week. I kept telling us, "Dude, I can't go back, get the next one." The next one was pretty much a halter top. So it was either get the turtle shell back
Too long.
or wear right,
Yeah.
and then
Too
about
too
maybe
long,
2
too
weeks
short.
later,
Yeah. Then they got your medium
the
size
custom
one.
one. Yeah, the custom
Yeah.
one came in.
Yeah, because you
But
have
it was
to.
crazy, right?
Yeah, you have to be measured,
Mhm.
made to measure you.
That's why I was
Yeah.
pointing at you when you said it, because I'm like, I lived that.
Right.
I lived back in the day when they wanted to protect so much area. It was like when the vest originally occurred, or when ballistic Kevlar was developed, they were like, all right, cover the whole body.
Cover
And
the
I mean,
whole
it went
body.
all the way down to
Oh, yeah,
to
to your
belt
groin.
buckle.
Yeah,
Right.
and
And
some of them
they
had
had
the groin
plates. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
groin plates.
they wanted to cover as much as possible, but then you got a
Right.
dude coming out like Sir Lancelot about the, getting the damn joust.
And don't get in a fight
Nah,
on a hot
but
day.
It was
Yeah.
don't wear it. Okay, my first agency, 1986, they allowed you to not wear it on hot days.
Oh, wow.
Like bullets didn't happen on hot days.
Yeah.
So a
'Cause,
lot of the old dudes would take their vest off, and out you pull up to their car, and the vest was draped over the passenger side seat.
Well, so I guess they put it on. If it got in the shooting, they just jump in the car.
It's almost the same analogy of people say you can't put a seatbelt on fast enough, when you're about to get in a
right
fire
to stop an accident.
Right.
Right,
So I guess
right.
they thought the same thing, but it was understood, and that was before the mandates of police officers having to wear a vest all the time. It was one of those
Right.
deals where it was optional. It literally was
Yeah.
optional.
Yeah, because we've seen a lot of them like that. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. There we go. So yeah, this was another good show. We talked about mag dumps, shooting groups, and those shot timers from Al's old shooting days. This show is sponsored by Saber Team Tactical. We do a bunch of different things. We shoot a tactical shooting company where we do from basic all the way up to advanced. Al is our lead instructor. You can hit him up. He is very good at what he does, and he practices what he preaches. We also we sell tactical and body armor gear. We also does etching and engraving. We don't do firearms, so don't hit me up for that. And but if you go on our website, we have our classes set for the whole date, for the whole year, and you can pick something out and go from there. And we appreciate you guys coming up to watch us and support us, and we appreciate all the comments. Anything you want to add, Al?
Yeah, I'd like to say thank you to everybody for first and foremost. But second, look us up. Come on out, train with us. If not, train somewhere. Support your local firearms instructors, guys.
Yeah. And we'll see you guys on the range.
Absolutely. See you on the range.